Welcome back to Railroads Online. I'm River, and I had a little problem. I actually restarted the server again and restarted the game. I guess it's a server in a way, but it's just the game. And I came in here and I started taking a look at, okay, where was I? Because it's actually been a couple days. I need to let you guys catch up with my episodes, and plus I've just been busy. But it is not fun. But I came back, and as I came back, I noticed that those trades over there were like departing. So I ended up having to run all the way down there and get them. Now, I don't know. This is the second time that when I came back in, the trains had separated. And yeah, so here we are, right? So I don't know if that was because of some part of the snafu that we had up here. Fortunately, I was able to catch up to them by the time they got to there, and the damage is no worse. And that was only because I restarted the server, and then pretty much kind of got over there as quick as I could. Because I don't know if you ever noticed, but like it starts making noise, and you're actually in the game, but it's just a black screen. So just in that little bit of time, it started getting away from me, you could say, because I had saved it. I was like all the way over here. I wasn't right there, so I had kind of a slow speed chase in a way. But in any event, we got that, and let's get back to business, right? So the business is we have to improve this. For those of you who didn't watch the end of the last episode, this is just a little bit too tight, and then it's got some jankiness there, like so. Really, it seems like right here gets particularly a little bit tighter. Those who are eagle-eyed track builders can see what I'm talking about. See how it's not? This is almost like a straight section right here. Like maybe in my not so experienced days, I tried to fit in a straight section. I don't know. Either that or the computer just did something wrong, because couldn't have been me, right? So I think what we need to do is demolish all of this. Now, the last episode, we were trying to put in all these markers. And I'm just going to go kind of way back. Yeah, that's not completely straight right there anyway. So that was a nice straight section. We'll see if we can match up. So we're going to have to swing wider to make this turn more gradual. And I think I know why this happens to me, too, by the way. Like, picture I'm over here, and I'm laying the track, right? And let's even just, like, replay, like, crash investigation here. So I'm laying the track and everything's going, look how nice that is. That's just nice, nice, nice. And then I start getting around and I start thinking more about matching up over here, but I still haven't messed it up. And then I get to the point like here where now I can see where I'm going, right? So I can see that that's not quite matching up, so I start making adjustments to what I'm doing as I come around this turn, because I want to try to meet back up with my track. And I think it's very hard to resist that impulse to change that. And I think most of the time you do get away with it because your turn's not so tight. Right? I think it's mostly just because that turn was so tight that we started having that problem. So I'm going to try to go straight here and then swing it like wider if I can, which probably means going a little bit further. Like it's not going to bother me to come out of here, a little bit further before I start the turn and get onto this wider thing. I'm going to just try to follow this. That's probably a little bit too sharp. Maybe. We'll see. All right, we'll just follow this wideness right around. I shouldn't be thinking about too many things at once, but I don't think those markers are going to be right. Like, how can they be right? Because this is going to be a whole different diameter or radius to that turn. And there was a little bit of a conversation with. I do think it's confusing that they do put the curve radius. You know what? It does say curve radius, doesn't it? Well, that is the two things you would need to do to calculate how sharp that turn is. Really, the radius, I think, would be enough. Yeah, see, that kind of swings back in a little bit abrupt. That's probably not too bad. It's not like, means you're not going to get as high a speed, but it's not. Yeah, that's definitely going to be better. So now I think the thing that we need to do is get rid of... Oh, didn't mean to get rid of that. Quite obviously, let's... Then I may try some new designs with this. They don't, excuse me, they don't seem to be too quick to, seems like a 2 degree is what that was. They don't seem to be too quick to be giving us any kind of markers with these upgrades. They got better things to do, and that's... I'm going to stay away from that track, but up. Are we at about the height of this? Yeah, see, that's... But this one could go down. Go down 2 degrees. All right, just run that into the ground so it looks good. Now that'll give us a good marker base. We don't accidentally delete it, like we can put the mark. I don't want to delete the track, so I was staying away from it, but we'll go put that back in a second. All right, good. So what I was thinking of doing someplace is just seeing about this stone wall, and then just now I noticed something else that we want to fix. Or I want to fix. Not sure how I didn't notice it in all this time. Shows you how not observant I can be when I'm focused. My strength in life is not necessarily observing the world around me. I'm not bad at it, but my strength is in focusing on things. But I can do that often to the exclusion of other things. So we have this. So it's, when I went to chase down my rail cars, I see that, you know, we did this so that it didn't look horrible. And then how did I leave that section? Maybe I didn't want to get into this, but it doesn't really hurt. Or, oh yeah, maybe I don't know. But look at that. Let's see if we can fix that. Now the trick with this is that, you know, how do we make it look good with that thing? I'm not sure that we can. Maybe that's why I kind of stopped. You know what, to the point where I don't think there's going to be a good thing to do, because if we run this wall type road bed across here, it's not going to really look good. And then if I put the gravel back, it's going to look, you know, so I guess maybe it would be better that this thing just overhangs kind of dumb in the air. But I don't want to do any of that with the train sitting right on the track. So I do have the brake on a car down there. That's how I stopped it. And it is the last car. So let's get backed up and see if we can't get this guy going. Now, did we get water? I forget. Let's just do F. No, we didn't get water. Should have done that before I started recording. Oh, there is, I don't know if you guys, it's been a while. This is to give you an idea how far ahead I am. It's like a week. You know, like I gave my tutorial video, but if you didn't watch that, just go real slow with this. I don't know. I don't think I got that one just dead in the right spot, did I? No. Yeah, no, I don't think I'm getting that one in. Oh, there we go. Yep. So I gotta just... This one's a little bit too close to the... Yeah, I think that getting these things placed is kind of tough. There could be a better system that somebody could come up with. All right, good. So there we go. We got that. There's no firewood up here, but we don't need... the firewood debate is still going on the Steam forums as of this date, which is hopefully it's calmed down by then. They've given us a couple updates, and they did say that they redid some stuff, so I'm not sure. I'm not seeing it at this point. I just came in here and looked, and I thought they said they might have been redoing this, but we'll see. Let's see what happens when we put in 5 pieces of firewood. Look, we went right up to 49, so they're talking about something. I don't think we should have gone right up to 49, right? That is different, because we were at like minus 50. Oops, we got reverser. Oh no, we do want reverser. Sorry. I want 20, but... So yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on this. We don't have too much pressure, but we can at least get started. So I'm thinking that it might not go into that negative, but then they did explain the negative in a way that makes sense. Just why won't they show the negative? Can have positive numbers? Maybe they were afraid people would be confused if it said like negative 45 or something. I don't really understand why. Look, you got a negative number right here on the reverser. It's just, computers can handle negative numbers. It's not really even a big deal for them, I don't think. Oh, look at that. We lost another rail car. Okay, well, good. I'm glad. And I did, when I ran down there and I caught that, just advice, I ran to the last car because I figured, well, let's see what... I'm going slow because I don't want to slam into them. Now I'm going too slow. I thought this was downhill. How did that car even... Oh, because I got the brake on. Sorry. Paying attention. Talking too much, not paying attention. Like Achilles heel with these videos. Yeah, so it is downhill, and I do need to be a little careful. Just not... Should be getting close. Yeah, and they didn't in the last update, they didn't fix this that they broke. Yeah, I don't know if it's because they picture you standing in there, but if they do, they need to make your dude shorter. Right, hopefully that's enough stopping power on that hill that they don't keep sliding away and we can get them all reattached, right? But hit them slow with the brakes on. Oops, I'm gonna have to run down the train. Yeah, this was not the best place to have to do this, was it? All right, that one. Yeah, this one was attached. There we go. Well, we got the noise. That's what I was afraid of. Like, if you don't... Well, it made the noise. See, these were attached, so yeah, let's go ahead and see. I don't think that. See, that's not attached. All right, well, this one's got the brake on, so we should be able to back up a little bit and jam them. And that's a function of being on the hill and hitting the brakes a little bit too hard. All right, and I even thought that when I put them up to 20, but you really want to kind of hit it really slow or at the brakes barely on. If you're on a hill, it's not such a big deal. If you're on an uphill, then you can kind of jam right into them and no problem. All right, that's going to be plenty. See, and you know what? A part of that is the function of I can't see where I'm dropping this any longer, right? So I don't know if I'm at 20 or if I'm at 10. Like, I want to put it on 10. Well, where's 10? I can't tell. All right, that's 0. There you go. Now we'll just break it up. It'll put it on 100 when I get out, so. All right, so that should be a lot better bunched up. Yep, there's the noise. All right. Are we just moving a little because we're... Nope. Well, that's one way to test it, isn't it? How about anybody else? Anybody else want to move? It's like running the hurdles. I don't know. Is it faster? Like I know sometimes games can be faster when you're. I know it's annoying to me as an older person that people are just constantly jumping in their videos. But I guess I understand the logic of it. But you would think that would be pretty good, right? Should put the brake on more cars back there because I have 2 cars that need to be reattached, right? So if I had 2 brakes on it, it'd be less likely to keep sliding. All right, I think we're all attached. Go up and just check all these brakes. Yeah, see, that's attached, believe it or not. That's just the game allowing it to move more than it probably should. Graphics issues. I shouldn't even say graphics. Probably more like, how the game is rendering where it's rendering things exactly. Probably gets pretty tricky, I would think. All right, so let's go forward. We've got water enough to get returned. We've got our switches. We just came down that way, so we don't have to worry about them until the way out. Well, no, you know what we need to do? We need to pull back all the way around, put our markers back in. Just see if we don't have the same problem again, and we got to get those last 3 cars unloaded. Oh, guess what? Oh, good Lord. We're missing cars. Well, this is the one that was originally broken off, right? I thought for sure I went down. Yeah, this control here now has just gotten very much worse. Not being able to see those numbers is makes me want to get in the cab and do things, which is not a problem. But oh, that's right. We don't have the brakes on back there, do we? Shoot, 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 shoot. Run, run, run. All right, does jumping help? All right, I'll jump and run in my video if it helps. Because I about knocked them down the hill. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Forgot about this part. There's the handle I need. All right, let's put on 2 of these. So that's a little more braking. Chasing trains. Boy, we're 20 minutes in. I guess we did late. I was going to say, all we've managed to do is, feels like I've been spending 20 minutes just trying to attach these rail cars. I guess it's not that bad, is it? Going to burn up a whole stack of firewood. Did I hit V or something? Yeah, no, it's... Worst part is now there we go. I think we hit it. See, that's the 2 brakes is doing a better job at like stopping the train, and Because that would probably be smart practice, especially if you're on a downhill, to set all the brakes on those cars, or at least two. At least we're on proper ground. Maybe we just go up and down the whole thing and. All right, we gotta be careful that one doesn't have its. Not really on a. I think if I'm well, these were attached because they all came with me. Yeah, I'm not messing with that one. Right? Nobody's. What are we doing now? All right, we stopped. Okay. The worst part's getting off. Let's get off this hill. Like, it's not much of a slope, but it's enough that it's causing issues. All right, reverser forward. Put a little more of that on. And a little extra. And the more I'm playing with longer trains, the more I like keeping this like in the teens when you start. Because I think if you just give it full throttle, I feel like you'll be snapping off those links. I'm not sure if I've done it, if that was. I did leave cars behind one time, and I can't really tell you why. And I'm thinking that it was because I just started too fast, like trying to gun it. There we go. Let's try this all over again. Like deja vu from the last episode. Kind of, except we don't have most of our load. So I'll try to pull up to the very last car down there, and we'll see if that get it all lined up, and we'll just kind of do the same thing we were doing when we started having issues. See if we fixed it. Because we are going to need to work right on that turn. Now, it does leave to the question of, well, how many cars can you even... You might not... trains may not be the issue, but you still car trains. And this is really the biggest one that I would have the urge to be longer, because you can only carry 3 beams. And that really makes this one of the grindiest things to have to do, is this and the coal mine, just because of that. So if we can get 12 cars, that definitely makes a nice difference. So far it looks nice, doesn't it? Yeah, we might need to get rid of some more trees, huh? They block our view. So far so good. That's looking pretty close. Alright, maybe a little bit further forward. Let's go check it out, though. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, look how much that thing's moving back and forth. So I would say we are about half. We need to go like half of a car length forward. Alright, so let me do this. Let's go and mark this one right at the halfway point. Not going to be perfect way to do it, but alright, if I mark him about here, and then we can use our skills to try to get pulled up. Are we running out of steam here? Not really. Yeah, so that's still taking a pretty good amount of pulling power to... Let me just focus on this for a second. Yeah, that should be close. Alright. Pretty close. Well, moved without derailing anything. Yeah, I mean that certainly would work. No, that's actually pretty good. I mean, I don't think we're going to get a whole lot better. Now, when you're talking about end of this car to the end of that, even though you're not right lined up with the wood, you are in the middle of what appears to be that dock. All right, so I think that's good. So let's come along here. Not sure that we need one this close, but it's going to get one. And I decided, oh, there's another thing. It's a little, like you can't, it's hard to see that. We're going to try to demolish the right thing here. Nope, of course we didn't. I can't even demolish it at all. There you go. Of course we did. But it's on the downhill, so forget if I said this. In the last episode or not, but go the other way. I feel like I did say that in the last episode. Like, in other words, don't go from here to here, go right to left. And then it makes that just ever so slightly taller, and it shows up a lot better. Right, if I go this way, see how it goes into the ground? Where when I go that way, it doesn't. And once you're on a level, it doesn't matter. But all right, come on. It's kind of sticky sometimes placing these things. I like to get them right on the radius, so to speak. So it's a little. Yeah, see, now we're on the level. It doesn't matter. And I guess my tendency is to want to go left to right for some reason. Might be too fiddly with that. Because we have 3 feet, plus or minus 3 feet. So it's not like we have to be, and even that's not totally true. That's just to be on the dock, right? Like it still will accept it. You don't have to be perfectly there. But this one is... Yeah, look at that. I'm just having the worst time trying to delete these first. I'm trying. I think I was pointed straight at. That made my gravel not look quite as nice. I don't like that position. There we go. Yeah. Just sort of turned on me at the last second. All right, here we go. So how many empty cars do we have there? We have 1, 2. So we need to go back 2 spots. If we go back 2 spots, we'll be on the third one. Yeah, so it's a little hard to see both. Can we do it from this way? Yeah, I guess that lets us see both a little bit. Let's see how this... Yeah, it's definitely, I'm on 20 and it's barely pushing it back. And remember, that was the first sign of trouble that we had, was that it wasn't just wanting to go back. All right, so this is 2. A little bit of brake. Much more brake. Full brake. There we go. Yeah, so that was a little bit of extra work, but I definitely think it's worth, as I've done it a few times now, it's definitely worth pulling past there than trying to line up every single one individually. It's, as you pull forward, then you got to kind of line it up again because it's hard to see exactly where this marker is. Like you can see it when you're in this mode, like we can see that one perfectly. So now it's easy. Oops, we don't want that. This may just glide back on its own. Right, we can easily see where we have to go. So once you get in a rhythm, you know, even with this unfriendly, only drop off one thing at a time loading dock or unloading dock. You know, we can get into a pretty good rhythm with this and get them done pretty quickly. Though it does take longer to run back and forth when you've got a big train, which is cool. Okay, I did get a comment from B-Ball Joe, another YouTuber, about why don't I fast forward, take the trips where I'm being quiet. And a couple of reasons. One, I wanted to show you guys exactly how long these train trips last. Minute, but yeah, like, you know, as I approach a turn, even if I'm not talking about it, like, do I keep the throttle up the whole way? How do these turns look? You know, sometimes I know it's hard to tell, and I imagine a lot of people aren't paying that level of attention, but that's sort of the idea. Plus, it's a nice, relaxing train trip, right? So, let me know if you have an opinion on that. Now, what do we need to do now? I'm a little bit discombobulated because I haven't figured it out. So I need to come over here and take a look at my spreadsheet, which of course is buried. So we now have 70 ore here, and we have 0 lumber and 0 beams after all that. Right, so it's nice the way it works out now that we have 12 cars instead of the 10. We can bring up a multiple of 1 car lumber plus 2 cars of beam. So we can set 4 sets of those. So that's great, because now we can get 24 lumber and 24 beams up here each time. And we want to keep that balance, right? Because that way we can drop off our lumber, bada bing, and then start dropping off the beams, because we can't drop off 24 beams before we at least drop off 4 lumber, because it would back up the beams thing, right? So anyway, that's great. I think 12 is a nice car length for bringing up. Obviously, 24 would be better, or any real multiple would work fine. But I think that's a nice set. Then you could take 4 trips up here to fill this thing up. So we could take another trip of iron ore up to here. Now, when I go and look at why we're doing the iron ore, it's because we need to get some more rails. Now, we have 57 coal. So I'm thinking that if we go and get 2 more hopper cars, that'll mean we have 5 of those hopper cars. And those 5 hopper cars we can use to get 50 iron ore down to there, to the smelter. That'll give us 50 more rails, because we only have 13 rails at the coal mine and 40 rails at the smelter. So I'd like to take up another full train load of rails, which go on these cars, right? And we could fit a full, we can get all of them up there in one shot. We also need to get beams. So that's, maybe I'm thinking a little bit too far ahead, but I think the idea right now is to go back down the hill, drop this off someplace. Yeah, so I do need to think about it a little bit. Maybe when we're driving, though I do need to pay attention now that we got these 12 cars. Let's see how we make it down the hill. All right, let's go forward. We switched that switch. We need to put some... All right, so now... Yeah, no, it's taking us right up to 49 each time, so... Not sure exactly what they changed and why. But it's certainly going to be clearer for people who are struggling. Yeah, let's see how we... Is there a particular reason we're not going forward? We're not on that much of a hill, are we? Oh, we're losing a little bit of pressure, so maybe that's... And we're on a bit of a turn, and that is uphill, like that little stretch. Yeah, let's not do 45. Well, boy, they made that frustrating. They really took a lot of the pleasure out of being in the F mode off of me right now. Now, the other thing is I'm probably complaining about something that's a week old. So hopefully there's a correction by then. Yeah, look, there we go. So things seem to be pretty smoothly going around that. We haven't fully even gone through yet, have we? Can't really see everything. Maybe one day when we have loads of money, we can take out the rest of these trees up here so we can see it a little better. All right, let's head back down. And yeah, let me know if you have an opinion about the being quiet, but the thing is just so loud that I don't want to make too much noise, and it's hard to hear me, even if I did adjust that so I am audible over the noise, but I still feel like it could be pleasant, nice trip down the hill with me interjecting once in a while. Now let's see. Now that we're moving, maybe we'll just go slow a little bit on the hill. Keep the noise down. Yeah, I have 57 coal. So how many beams... Well, it would be 1 to 1, right? So the coal mine would need some more beams than it does rails. And if I bring down 50 coal, or 50 iron, it's fine. We can have the surplus there. And that'll get me up to 100 coal. That I can bring down to there. But, no, I'm just jumping ahead. Yeah, so the smelter needs the iron. My smelter numbers are off of my spreadsheet, I can tell, because we have 80... Oh, no, they're not. We need the iron ore to make some more rails. We could take up... Yeah, we don't really even need to be doing this. No, we do because we want more iron for down at the ironworks. No, we got plenty of iron down at the ironworks. We need more coal down at the ironworks. Yeah, that's what it is. I only have 57 coal down there in the coal mine. And I want to get 100 or closer to it down to the ironworks. So, pay attention. Too much math, not enough attention. Let's give a little break. How are we doing back there? Are we all still coming along? Looks like it. It's about the right length. Oh, no, we got a car derailed. You see that? How did we get a car derailed? Was the last one flew off? All right, yeah, so this makes sense anyway. Let's finish my thought if I can. I know that probably got confusing because I thought I had it straight, and I'm looking at the wrong thing half the time. Yeah, look at how did it get up there like that? Well, the good thing is I think it will just... I think it'll just glide down to the next. Yeah, so the link is in this one. We need to... Oh, you know what? We can put the brake on and do it when we're... I need to... I didn't want to... Good, that didn't glitch it out. I wanted to put that brake on first, but I had already selected this. So it was... Well, you know what? We could probably run it right down there, can't we? But we do want to give it a little bit. Okay, good. So the link is on this side. Let's see if it'll just slide down on its own. Can we push it? Go. Nope. I'm not gonna go. Okay, there you go. a little break. Yeah, that's an abrupt stop there, isn't it? All right, is that the only one? 1, 2. $11, $12. Well, we got them all back. All the ducks are in a row. I hope. And I did take that break off. Yeah, I'm a little surprised that that came off like that. I didn't. How did we not see it? Like we just saw it on the edge of the road there. I mean, I know we were going kind of fast, but yeah. So the bottom line is, we're taking these down there. I want to end up getting in the neighborhood of 50 more coal. We got 96 iron down at the ironworks. So that's good. And we already have 36 tools and 36 steel pipes down there. So we've got stuff. But if we get that, some extra coal going. And by the way, some of all of this is because I want to get more locomotives, right? We're not, I do like our new little porter here. And it might even be that these porters are the best trains to use. And, but maybe the other, I've heard the other trains could use some work, like where there's some people are saying it's not that these are so OP, it's that the other ones haven't been fully properly implemented or something along those lines. But anyway, so we're trying to save up some money. That is the other portion. And a lot of this was supposed to be just me quietly not making episodes, kind of killing time while we make some money, and then I let you guys catch up with the episode. But in any event, here we are. We're going to try to get an equal number of beams and rails. So the problem is that the rails, the car holds 10, and the next common denominator would be 30, right? So the problem is, if we put 3 rail cars of rails, we would then have 9 cars left for beams, but that would only be 27. But that is pretty close, and then we could vary it depending on exactly what we want. So this case where we have 13 rails already up there, yeah, I think what I would do is let's bring 2 cars of rails. All right, and then then 10 cars of beams. So we'll have 30 beams and we'll have 20 rails, and that'll, help level it out, because you don't have a lot of extra storage up there. You can't, I forget the exact, oh no, here it is, I got it written down. So you can hold 50 rails and 20 beams, so you can't be off too much. Like you kind of have to be close-ish. Yeah, this is the sleeper curve that'll kill you right here. So yeah, so I'm sorry about all that math. I think it was probably impossible to follow. Even in my own head, I'm still a little bit confused. But the bottom line is 2 cars of rails and 10 cars of beams will get us to where we need to go. Now, we probably, given that we're going to be carrying this much weight, should stop on the way down and get it. Now, I don't think there's going to be anything that dramatic or exciting about my trip up to the coal mine, because we've made trips from the coal mine to the smelter and whatnot before. So I think I'll probably do that myself. We can talk about ending this episode maybe when we get back down to the smelter. We'll see how much time we have. And another thing to say is, I've been noticing that there's no doubt that there's more issues with these videos when I go over an hour of recording them. Now, I'm not sure exactly why that is. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. I do have it breaking the videos off into segments. Not that you guys need to know all this, but so I have been trying to see why that's happening. And maybe it's a function of the software or the length of the video, but it definitely doesn't seem to happen ever at the very beginning of the videos. Like, you would think that, I mean, I'm doing more or less the same thing, given a video. Like, it's not like the end always has the same activity that would be causing an in-game problem. All right, this is where I'm thinking, could we even stop if we wanted to? But I think I need to switch this switch right here to save myself a lot of aggravation. Look, this is 100% braking. Like, if you didn't have this switch set on the way down, you better have stopped before you even got here, There you go. Like, we're even picking up speed. Now, I'm curious, though, when we get... That's the steepest part. Like, it gets steeper right about where that switch is. And then it gets a little bit... It's like a 6th grade here. So I'm hoping we can stop on this. But coming back up the hill with a full load, I think I'd really just rather be able to stop. Now, I guess what I could do is get out and do this, right? Till we stop. There we go, we're stopping. Yeah, that was a good idea. Glad I thought of that. Would have been better to think of it about that much further ahead, but... Yeah, so now the next trip will be to the coal mine. And I could take more trips up to the logging camp, but I want to get this call. I want to get us... I didn't really plan on this many episodes before we fired up our oil refinery and our... So maybe what I'll do is just run until we're... I'll just do a couple train loads up to the coal mine and down to that ironworks till we have enough money, right? That's really so we've got 4,700 now. And I think when we finished that ironworks, we only had like 900 or something like that. Not very much at all. So that's been the purpose of not finishing. I'd like to take some trips with our new trains. What would this train be good for? Really anything. I mean, it's, we're going up and down. If you can go up and down the coal mine, and it's relatively quick, on the flats even, it's a fine train. You could use it anywhere. It seems to me, and maybe it's not such a huge difference, but it definitely seems like I need to put on a little bit more power with this one than I did the other Betsy. And that could just, again, be my imagination. But, and if that's true, it just wouldn't be as powerful. Now, is that a function of not having any fuel in there? Like, did they redo this? Like, why would we be slowing down so much? Because I didn't... Oh, because we have those brakes still on. Genius. Well, that's good. The brakes worked. Good. There's 4 of them. All right, we'll double check this one just to make sure we're not... Yep. Always something in life. There's a real big human tendency I've learned to not blame yourself. And I love jokingly, like, just blaming anything but myself. But at the same time, I'm quite aware that more often than not, some of these problems, like, there's the thing that gets me too, like when people are complaining about these games, is like, there's a bug. It's like, well, yeah, but why aren't everyone having that bug? And it doesn't mean your computer can't have a special thing, but you tell some people, well, it's probably your computer, and they get all upset. My computer's perfect. It's like, well, how do you know that? Like, 7 million things. I have a nice computer, but who the hell knows what's going on in there that I might have done that had nothing. It's not like I did anything wrong. Like, I loaded some piece of software 4 years ago, or the computer's not quite that old, but you get the idea. Like, you loaded some Sonic software, I think, was causing problems with Flight Simulator. And then I think some people just don't have the mentality to do early access. Like, they just need to not do early access. They're just too critical or demanding, or I'm not sure what the right word is there. All right, so what are we doing first? Well, I guess it depends on these switches. Do we just head right back down to the lumber, or do we come to the... Let's let the switches decide. Yeah, it would probably be better to... No, we should let the switches decide, would be easier, I think. Because we got to stop either way. Yeah, so let's just... I was thinking we're going back to the lumber. So let's just go... We'll run down to the lumber together. And then we'll call this an episode so I don't go over an hour. And then hopefully that'll mean that our graphics stay perfect. And I'll try to keep it better. So the other truth of the matter is I don't watch every minute of every episode, so I don't always say. I always spot check them, make sure that I didn't lose sound or who knows what. There we go. Yeah, this is a section of track I want to improve here too. Like, I think I can make that a little straighter up to this bridge. Not sure if you guys noticed, but I left a little bit of debris on that corner there when I was fixing this height. But I definitely like that better. That's an improved thing, and that's the kind of thing that I think that it's an experience for you guys to see how my tracks work or don't work when I'm trying to drive around. Like, you can make a reasonable judgment based on my regulator speed, and you can see what's going on. You know, how well you can see if the cars are vibrating a lot. Like, how well are my tracks doing compared to what your setup is, and just gives you another experience. And I think if I fast forward that, it takes away that a little bit. And I'm not trying to justify it. I like, now, and plus also now that I got the sound tuned a little bit better, I think it's not so bad for me to talk at times during the trip. Because at first I just didn't realize how loud that was. I have a very simple mixer on my recording software that shows you know, it just does the game sound versus my recording sound, my voice sound. All right, so let's see. We should be going straight on in there. Well, we can't get 2 carts of rails. You know, one of the problems we might have here is, that'll be interesting. I didn't really. Oh, let's give it some gas. Didn't really think of, can this whole train fit in our bypass up there at the smelter? Right, because we have like the go around loop where you can, you know, go, and you kind of have to do that. So if we go to take hopper cars, because I can't really take. I mean, I don't have. Or no, I do have 40 rails at the smelter. I'm sorry. Never mind. I keep looking at the wrong list here. I got to make it clearer for myself. You know, we can pick up we got 40 rails at the smelter. I can pick up 2 carts. Yeah, never mind. I'm getting ahead of myself again. But there we go. So we made it down here. I don't think there's going to be anything more exciting. I'm going to load up, you know, enough cars, and then I'm going to pull into the smelter. And I'm going to load up 2 more, and then I'll take those up to the coal mine. We got the switched. And it should be a nice, pleasant ride. I might, you know, I don't know when I'll come back. I think I'll come back when I go to get the rail cars, hoppers. Maybe we'll run, see how 5 hopper cars going back and forth to the coal mine and the iron mine works out. Should be fine. I don't think they're, I don't know, dude. Some of the, I do have that question that I've never really answered. You would think the lumber cars weigh less than the iron ore cars. All right, I'm going to stop right here. Get myself some fuel. I should have put on the brakes sooner. Okay, good. Let me just stop, and then we'll end the episode right here. And I'll get all loaded up. There we go. Well, I forget what I was even saying. Sorry about that. But yeah, so the hopper cars, do they weigh more than like these cars? And for that matter, does lumber weigh more than beams? Does that actually make a difference? We haven't really been pushing the load, so to speak. So it's you know, we haven't been pushing the cars to really be able to tell, or the trains, the locomotives. We haven't really been pushing them to know that they get bogged down too much. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. Let me know what you think about the train rides. And like I said, I don't do the repetitive train rides, but I definitely like whenever we make changes to track for you guys to see the impact. And I think that's best done at 1-time speed. But let me know. All right, have a good day. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.